Oh my god, it's finally something besides Shane Dawson or Colleen Ballinger. Praise be to Barbara. That's definitely cold because it's definitely from this morning. It tastes like pine salt. And I love pine salt.
Power of pine salt.
Hi, welcome back to my channel. If you've never been here before, that's likely. Thanks for showing up. We've been waiting. It's been a while.
It's been a while.
If you have been here before, like I said, welcome back. What do you want? A fucking cookie? I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're queer. Let's be queer. My kids are downstairs destroying my house with Play-Doh because it's a snow day. I'm home today with the kiddos because it's a snow day, and they're occupado with the Play-Doh. So I thought I'd come up here and shoot a video I've been waiting to shoot for some time. And the reason I've been waiting to shoot this video for some time is because this is the story of a girl. Quite possibly the subject matter that will not die, okay? And we will be talking about Shane and Rylan welcoming their twins into the world. And I actually have some pretty controversial opinions on that, so stay tuned. And I also have the video with my mom where we watched Shane's latest classist conspiracy theory video. I just didn't want to like inundate y'all with like Shane Dawson content after Shane Dawson content. Like, it gets a little old hat. So we're gonna throw this one into the mix, and we got a couple other ones because I do want to talk about Matt Rife. I just need to carve out an afternoon to get around his jawline, if you know what I'm saying. Anyway, if I sound a little shitty, it's because I feel a little shitty. I have some kind of virus. My throat feels like there's, what do they call those? When you go to the guy to call it the forceps? No, that's not right. Speculum? It feels like I've got a speculum. That's probably the wrong analogy. My throat fucking hurts. So apologies if I'm sniffly or gross. But that's kind of my thing, okay? Today, we're talking about Jenelle Evans from Teen Mom 2, who I have already spoken about at great length in my Evolution of Teen Mom series, which, yes, there are going to be more of those that also do not involve Jenelle. I think Kale's next. I was debating between Kale and Farrah, so you let me know in the comments down below which one you want first. I feel like you're all going to say Farrah because she's the most obvious one. But Kale's got some shit, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, I will continue that series. If you haven't visited that series yet, or if you came from that series and you haven't seen the rest of them, they're up there. I don't know if it's up there or up there. I don't. Shut up. Well, there's been a lot going on with Jenelle this past few months. Let's catch up. Before we get going, I really want to make sure that you subscribe to my channel because I love you. I don't know who the fuck you are, but it'd be cool if you were subscribed. So if this ugly mug and this very temporary background doesn't completely offend you, my wonky eye will. So subscribe for more super offensive content. If there's anybody you think I need to air out to dry on this channel, feel free to leave that in the comments below. Make sure you like the video preemptively because you're about to hate it and you can't take back your likes. You can. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Anyway, let's get down to it. If you don't know who Jenelle is, I'll give you like a little bit of a breakdown. I really would suggest going to watch the video that I made before because it's, for me, fairly in-depth. I suspect that I have ADHD because research is something that I can't do. I'm not good at it. I don't enjoy it. I love learning things. Like, I'll fall down a rabbit hole. But if I want to make a video, even if it's about something I'm interested in, and then I have to do like a shit ton of research for it, I'm just immediately disinterested. So if that sounds like ADHD, comment down below. I don't have to research much because Teen Mom is like my guilty pleasure, specifically Teen Mom 2. So I don't really have to like go catch up with Jenelle because like I've been watching. I rewatch just to remember.
Hey, strung out on weed.
So Janelle's kind of the trouble child of the Teen Mom 2 cast, the one who chose partying over her kid, was violent towards her mother. Her mother, Barb, who, if you know about Teen Mom, you know about Barb. Barb, She's seen you with Kiefer, that's for sure.
Hi. You're both high.
So Jenelle signed over custody of her son Jace when he was still a baby to her mom, Barbara, who basically had Jace in her care and sort of, listen, here's the thing about Barb. I'm not here to be like, Barb is a saint, because, I mean, it's a huge feat for a woman her age to have taken on her, not only Janelle's son, but I believe her other daughter's son is in her care as well. So, I mean, like, Barb's may not have been the best parent. I don't know, I wasn't there. Do I disagree with some of the things she did over the years? Do I think she was sort of antagonistic and kind of shitty? Yeah. But I do think at the end of the day, she was the one to step up for Janelle's kid. And in this situation, we're going to canonize her for that. And that specifically. Jenelle, throughout the years, found herself in a shit ton of trouble. She stole her mom's credit cards with her boyfriend Kiefer.
Nothing else worse can happen, Mom.
Who had a green hoodie, had countless, she's someone who the minute she breaks up with someone, she's looking for someone else or goes back to someone else, usually Kiefer. She was doing heroin.
Nothing else worse can happen, Mom.
When she met her second baby daddy, Nathan, they had a baby I believe within the first year. They were together purposefully, like by choice, to start a family.
Why am I being arrested? Because I'm a guy. Why am I a guy?
She's been in a lot of domestic violence situations, which I'm not saying are her fault by any stretch, because I'm not here to like be like, look at you, you find yourself in another domestic violence situation, did you? That's not what I'm trying to do. But just to kind of give you an idea of the tumultuousness of the life she's led. And then she met David.
I fucking like you.
Nothing else worse can happen, Mom.
The swamp monster, as he's going to be known in this video. David is something else. He is a Confederate flag toting, racist, homophobic piece of shit. I can't mince words. I mean, that's about right. Jenelle met David immediately after she broke up with Nathan, her second baby daddy. Met David, married David, despite her son Jace, who was still not in her custody, telling her that he didn't like David, he didn't want them to get married. He told Barbara that Jenelle and David are both pieces of shit. Despite all of that, she still chose to marry David. And they had a baby too.
Nothing else worse can happen, Mom.
Which, whatever. You do what you want with your life. I'm not, honestly, I have less issues with those choices than I do with the choices that she's making now. Because if you're going to be a piece of shit, just stay consistent and be a piece of shit forever, right? Just go all in or don't. Or get the fuck out, Something very interesting happens when Jenelle meets a new man, and this is why I kind of want to give this context, is because every time she meets somebody new, she becomes that somebody new, okay? So she's with Kiefer, they're, in trouble all the time, in jail all the time, getting fucking busted, breaking and entering all the time. They end up on heroin together. They just become this unit, right? And then she's with Nathan. And Nathan's like a bodybuilder, so she gets really into the gym and really into, anything that her man is into, she's into. She will morph into anything if someone will show her love, even if it's not real. And David was no exception. And as I described David earlier, as the Confederate flag toting, racist, homophobic that he is, an alleged child beater at that. Miss Jenelle, who used to go muff diving with her friend Tori, she also became a Confederate flag toting, racist, homophobic piece of shit. Now, all this to say, David has murdered their dog for nipping at their child that they never taught how to treat animals.
I've enjoyed my time here in Savannah.
Good girl, no.
He has made several disgusting comments which got him fired from Teen Mom and eventually resulted in Jenelle being let go from Teen Mom.
Nothing else else worse can happen, Mom.
And then, you know, since she's turned to OnlyFans and all this shit, I don't care about any of that. I'm not gonna sit here and shame somebody for doing OnlyFans. My issue is not that she does OnlyFans. My issue is that instead of getting herself a job, a steady job, and perhaps doing OnlyFans on the side to support her children, and of course her husband, who takes all her money, she's instead insisting upon, I am an influencer, okay? You're gonna see a bunch of Jenelle TikToks today. You let me know down below if they scream influencer, okay?
Yo, I just noticed everybody that don't fuck with me fucks with each other. It's like a fucking union of dumbass people.
All of this compounded with calling her son a liar after she pulled a gun on a stranger she followed to their house.
Nothing else worse can happen, Mom.
And then when Jay said, hey, you pulled a gun on him, she was like,
No, I didn't. Why would you say that?
and that was all, you know, on camera. Anyway, this year, in I believe March or May, sometime in the spring, this spring, Jenelle actually regained custody of Jace. Barbara, I think, was kind of like, my suspicion is Barbara was either like, Barbara's like 70, so she's probably like, hey, I have a 14-year-old here, this is a lot for me, it's time. Or, no, it was probably just that. So Jenelle regained custody of Jace in the spring and posted this very like weepy, sobby video of her crying while signing the papers and blah blah blah. And not 3 months, perhaps, later, it was reported that Jace was missing, that he ran away. He was found nearby at school and returned. Jenelle brushed this off as normal teenager stuff, which, given their history, is really hard to believe.
Jace has been located. He's safe. But that's not the point of this video.
Especially because he then did it again after doing it the one time. And when they found him, they brought him in for a mental health evaluation, and he accused David of assaulting him. Allegedly, there were marks on his neck, and there's also allegedly a ring video of the incident where David allegedly tried to strangle Jace and Jenelle stood by and watched. I don't know how many of you out there are parents, but I will tell you this. It would be a cold, dark day in hell before I let any person in the world put their hands on my child without even attempting to intervene. And this alone tells me all I need to know about Jenelle. Forget everything in her past. Forget everything in her past. If I had seen nothing else of Jenelle Evans, and this was the only tidbit I knew about her, I would have zero respect for her. At this point, like many times over the course of the past few years, this is the point where everybody who has seen through Jenelle's bullshit has that little modicum of hope. But while Jace was in the hospital, it was deemed that he would stay with Barbara again, which, you know, I gotta be real, I felt happy for Jace that he got to go back with Barbara, but I felt sad for Barbara because this poor woman who, like I said, regardless of her choices as a parent, even regardless of her choices as a grandparent, has spent all of her like golden years taking care of her kids. And just to keep them out of the system, you know? And that's the thing, it's like, she finally had a moment to breathe, she finally had a moment to herself. Whether or not she felt that way because of who Jace was left with is neither here nor there, but it's messed up that this woman can't just like enjoy the, you know, the time of her life that she should be able to just relax and unwind. Because surely she made money from Teen Mom, right? So, you know, she's probably got a nice nest egg, could probably go fucking enjoy herself and retire, or at least take a nice vacation.
The injustice.
But most importantly, the injustice to Jace. So Jace was told he could go live with Barbara after he left the hospital. He would technically be under the custody of CPS, not Jenelle, not Barbara, but CPS, until a custody arrangement could be made in court. Under this new ruling, technically, I guess you call it, Jenelle was not allowed to reach out to Jace in any capacity. She was, however, allowed to see or speak to Jace. I don't know about see. Speak to Jace, for sure, if he were to initiate it. David, however, is not allowed in any capacity, whether or not it comes from Jace, to see or speak to Jace. There's a no contact order when it comes to Jace.
Nothing else worse can happen, Mom.
David was formally charged with child abuse. So he was charged with child abuse as a misdemeanor, which blows my mind that child abuse is seen as a misdemeanor. CPS also decided that they were going to interview Jenelle's other two children, Ensley and Kaiser, without Jenelle or David present. I guess, as I understand it, in the past, anytime there was a CPS case open with Jenelle and David, they always insisted on being present if the children needed to be interviewed. So I think it's very interesting that they requested, not demanded, not requested, to interview them without Jenelle and David. So Jenelle and David had court. One of them had court, or both of them had court. They were, either way, they were both there. The case was moved to January, I do believe, as far as I understand it. What have they been doing in the meantime? That's a great question, because there's a lot of things that they've been doing in the meantime. None of them are even showing the slightest bit of remorse or admission of guilt. So, delightful. Jenelle's been making TikToks and telling sob stories. David decided he was going to have a rap career. I'm sorry, that guy's a fucking loser. She's basically just been trying to garner sympathy for her childhood. She is blaming all of this on Barbara, which I think is interesting because she keeps saying things like, oh, Barbara, you know, my mom keeps telling stories to whoever, and if she would just shut up, you know, this would be so, you know, this wouldn't be so horrible, and she's been doing this to me my whole life. And the funny thing is I haven't heard Barbara say a fucking thing. All I've heard is Jenelle running her fucking mouth. So I think it's safe to say at this point that David is Jenelle's karma for all her years of treating people like shit, including her children. And the cherry on top of that delicious karma sundae is that David's ex-wife leaked texts, which of course Jenelle says are photoshopped, between them, which say that David doesn't even want to be with Jenelle, pretty much. And the funny thing is that even reading that, like, you know, there was a meltdown on the land, but like even reading that, like, Jenelle will still go to bat for him over her son. Honestly, she'd probably defend, like, I don't know, Casey Anthony against her haters. And also, he lost her custody of Jace. Again. That's 2 times.
Nothing else worse can happen, Mom.
Which, all of this could have been avoided if she literally took her and left that swamp creature the last time she was alleging he was abusive towards her and the kids. Anyone remember that 911 call about the fucking collarbone?
I'm sorry, in the yard, and I think I heard my collarbone crack, and I can't move my arm, and he's been drinking, and I think that he got violent, violent because he was drinking.
You know the one. It turned out to be a misunderstanding. I can't tell you how many misunderstandings I've had in my life where my collarbone got broken. Listen, here's the thing. If you're not in the teen mom world, then what I'm saying right now probably sounds really insensitive, right? Why? How can you blame a domestic violence victim, blah, 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 blah. Listen to me. Listen to me. Listen to me.
Nothing else worse can happen, Mom.
She's had about 37 wake-up calls to this relationship, to all her past relationships, right? She's had so many wake-up calls. And the way that this man treats her children is unacceptable. Period. We've seen it on Teen Mom, the way he drags Kaiser around. Calls him a little bitch in front of him. I mean, there's just... This is... My point is, the things I'm saying are very specific to Jenelle and Janelle's MO in terms of her presence in the social media world. Do I think Jenelle has a lot of issues that she needs to work through? Fuck yeah. Absolutely. I was rewatching an episode the other day where she and Nathan were starting to break up, and she said something that was very telling of Jenelle. She said that if they break up, no man is ever going to want her because she's got 2 kids and she would be a burden to them. That's what her that's where her priorities are. Dick. Little tiny.
Nothing else worse can happen, Mom.
She has chosen men over her kids time and time and time and time and time again. It is a consistent pattern. It doesn't start with David, but it sure as hell seems like it ends with David. So back when I originally kind of outlined this video, this is kind of where I stopped. And I was like, more updates, you know, I've been But then I realized that, like, there were more updates every day and every day and every day. And right now, things are quiet, and I'll tell you why in just a second. So, here's what has happened since I first put this video together. What I heard was that Jenelle was not allowing Jace to take his medication. I believe he has ADHD. I'm not sure if he has any other mental health disorders. That's none of my fucking business. I'm not looking to know the medical history of a 14-year-old child. That's none of my business. But what I have heard is that Jenelle refuses to give him the medication he was prescribed. And just putting like 2 and 2 together, I'm getting 4 out of kid's not taking his medication, kid runs away from home. Now, this medication issue came about with David. I know a lot of people were suspicious that Jenelle was just taking the medication with her on the weekends when she would take Jace, and then literally taking the medication herself. I don't know what happened there. David is of the mind, it seems, that mental health disorders don't actually exist and medication does nothing for them. Which, whatever, if that's your opinion, that's fine. But obviously, if this is true, the two correlate, and it's creating unstable behavior in her child. So at some point, you really have to look at the situation you're creating and say, okay, do I want to keep my son on this medication? Or should I get him into intensive therapy? Or talk to his doctor about, I don't know, more intensive ways to handle his mental health disorders? I don't know, but we better just keep his medication from him. That'll fix it. Even though Barbara's had him in counseling. Honestly, in my opinion, it's a power thing, because Jenelle still technically has medical authority since she had been signed over custody. So she is just wielding her authority to say, no, Jace doesn't need this medication. Because she did the same thing when she had her son Kaiser with Nathan, is she would wield him against Nathan the way she thought Barbara was doing it to her. And whether or not Barbara was or was not is not the issue. She will take any opportunity to be spiteful, vengeful, and have the upper hand. She feels that she was so fucking wronged. She feels like she is the victim in the situation, that her son was stolen from her and this and that. Of course. So when you get him back, she said for years, when I get him back, Barbara's not going to see him anymore. I'm gonna do exactly what she did to me. She's a very eye for an eye kind of bitch. And then, unfortunately, Jace ran away from Barbara's house. Again, 2 and 2. Medication, because even in Barbara's house, she still was like, nah, no medication. And he ran away from Barb's. Unfortunately, they decided that he would no longer be allowed to live there. And it is looking like he's going to go to foster care. What a long way to go to put him in the same spot he would have been in if Barb didn't step in. And honestly, if I were Barbara, I would be not only hurt and upset for Jace, but I would be fucking livid that I just spent the last 14 years taking care of my daughter's child while she was off being a piece of shit, to then have him end up in the system anyway. So Jenelle was out here still running her denture ass hillbilly mouth, and almost gloating about the fact that he was removed from Barbara's care, as if to say, see, it's not us, it's Barbara. His behavior is because he was raised by Barbara. It's got nothing to do with us. It's got nothing to do with me. It's got nothing to do with Jenelle screaming at her mother in front of her son and storming out the door and never being around and screaming in his ear while she's screaming at her mother. Like, I can't imagine the things that poor kid has seen. I feel like he's one of those kids that maybe foster care is the best thing for him. I know it's a deeply, deeply fucked up system, and I hope for a miracle for that kid, honestly. So Jenelle's also been showing off her unbathed children that still somehow remain in her custody. That's no shade at the kids, by the way, because those kids have probably seen a lot of shit too. As a matter of fact, didn't David beat the hell out of that dog and then shoot him in front of Hensley? Pretty sure. And we've all seen how he treats Kaiser on camera. I can't imagine what it looks like off camera. Anyhow, like I said, things have gotten quiet now, with the exception of Jenelle sending herself, I assume, questions on Instagram. I really like that she missed this one though. So aside from that, she's been largely quiet on account of the fact that CPS issued a gag order on Jenelle because she could not she would not shut up about any of it. And they were like, okay, you know what? Enough. Now you be quiet. And it's been delightful. I guess they go back to court in January in terms of the child abuse case. I don't know, man. I don't know. I had so much hope when Jace ended up back with Barbara. But honestly, the best thing we could hope for is that Jace ends up somewhere loving and stable and stays in some sort of counseling or therapy and is hopefully allowed to be back on medication, because damn, that poor kid has seen some shit. This feels like a very somber video now. Jenelle and David are pieces of shit. So that's kind of all I got right now. I hope this was an update. I hope this broke up the Shane Dawson content at least a little bit. But I got a lot to talk about. I also have another Colleen Ballinger video coming because I have some other things to say. All of those are coming very soon. I'm also working on new Teen Mom videos. I'm also working on a movie analysis, which is coming hopefully soon. Lots of content. 2024 is going to be like chock full of fucking content, okay? I'm super excited. I'm working on my actual workspace, which is not just me sitting in front of my bed. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be awesome. 2024 is gonna be such a good year. I love you. Thank you for being here. If you like this video, you know what to do. Whatever. If you liked it, like it. If you didn't, I don't give a shit. Alright, I gotta go figure out what mess my kids have made now. Okay, thanks so much for being here. Stay tuned for the outtakes if there are any. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Nothing else worse can happen, Mom.
I have to go back to college. I gotta pass my classes.
Nothing else worse can happen, Mom.
I've been doing good.
Nothing else worse can happen, Mom.
Strung out on weed.
Well, you were wrong, and now the best is yet to come.